What is the best response to a police officer when they ask, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" Because it would have been really difficult having this conversation while driving. Edit. Thanks for the silver and gold. Did my tail light burn out? No admission of guilt or anything, just a generic "what could go wrong that I didn't know about" answer, no sass involved. Can then be properly apologetic about anything he says afterwards to try to minimize damage without admitting jack shit. Depends how long you were following me. Yes, but do you? Then hold up an Uno reverse card and arrest them. Only time I've ever been pulled over I didn't even get a chance to speak. As soon as I put down my window he said he had me clocked and held out his hand demanding license and registration. Now that I've got your attention, have you accepted Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior? Silence, as profound as the grave. A closed mouth gathers no foot. Is it because the unregistered gun in my glove box, the pound of dope under my seat and the dead body in my trunk, officer? Your tail light is out. Does it have anything to do with the corpse in the trunk? Sultrily, are you wearing a bulletproof vest or is that all you in there, officer? Do you know why I pulled you over? Why did you pull me over? That should be the extent of your side of the conversation. Why are you asking me? Did you already forget? Pulls that box of donuts cause you could smell me? You're inviting me to the patrolman's annual ball? Officer sir, patrolmen don't have balls. Me exactly. Dies in cop rage. Would you like a sip of my beer? Here it goes. I sped. I followed too closely. I ran a stop sign. I almost hit a Chevy. I sped some more. I failed to yield at a crosswalk. I changed lanes at the intersection. I changed lanes without signaling while running a red light and speeding. That all? No. I have unpaid parking tickets. Opens glove box with a ton of parking tickets. Gentle. If you forgot, I'm not reminding you. You wanted my phone number? Probably isn't it? Oh boy, I sure hope it's to share your donuts. Did I forget to take the free candy sign off again? That's for me to know and you to find out. Do you know why I pulled over? Technically, I pulled myself over. Do you know you ran a red light? That's impossible. I was driving. Well, you drove through one. I drove under one. Get the fuck out of the car. Do you know why this conversation is over? I then drive off into the sunny horizon with unmatched swagger. If you drive a sports bike because I let you. Definitely not. Is Dunkin' Donuts closed? My uncle said that once, while he was drunk. Hopefully to invite me to dinner. Every time I've been pulled over I know exactly why. When the cop asks me, I just say yep, I did XYZ and I knew better but made a bad decision. Gotten a few warnings but no tickets by just being honest. Cop pulled me over late one Saturday night. I'd seen him pull onto the highway from the grass on the shoulder. He'd been driving like 25 miles per hour on the highway and it struck me as weird, so I slowed down to give him lots of room, take my exit and get away from him. He asked me why and I told him the truth. He pulled out so weird, drove so slow I thought he was a junkie and wanted to get the hell away from him. He laughed and said that was sensible. I told him the rest of the truth, that I just sat through an all-day evening marathon double performance of the musical Oliver at a Catholic elementary school, had eaten too much celebratory school musical party cake, had helped drive all the kids home, helped clean up my friend's house and was ready to call it a night. He left and wished me a good evening. Don't let them ask. When they walk up, preempt with "Hello officer, is there a problem?" I assume you wanted to ask about the brewery sticker on my window. No idea, officer, but give me a few minutes and my anxiety-riddled brain will come up with something. Because it's the end of the month and you haven't met your ticket quota. In honesty, you probably want to say no to them. If you say something and it turns out not to be why they pulled you over, you can get hit with both what you said and what they pulled you over for. Similarly, the correct answer to "Do you have any idea how fast you were going?" is either no or something along those lines. To be honest, I have no idea why you pulled me over. But since I'm a law-abiding citizen, tell me why so we can both be on our way. Officer, how high are you? Me, no officer, it's pronounced high. How are you? 'Cause I'm young, and I'm black, and my hat's real low. Do I look like a mind reader, sir? I don't know. Am I under arrest, or should I guess some mo? You say that you have no idea why you are being pulled over. You never answer that question because it is an admission of guilt. You do not want to admit to a crime that they are accusing you of, especially when you didn't do anything. Even if you did something, you never admit to it. And if they ever say that they need to search your car, you refuse and tell them that they need a court order and that they can't detain you until they get one. And if they ever ask you if they can open your car door, that is giving them permission to search your car, so the answer is no. Because you wanted someone to talk to. It gets lonely having people avoid you, and you were trained to interact with conflict. So you have created conflict so you can have an interaction. It is possible to just find someone to talk to. You could join a group like the Boy Scouts or JCs. They talk all the time and don't need a conflict to do so. Is it related to the nuclear bomb in the trunk? There are plenty of funny and clever answers here, but if you're being serious and don't want to get in trouble, don't be a dick. Check out our Am I Being Detained to see how men in their 40s who still live with their parents get so excited when they get to interact with a cop who they baited just for YouTube footage. Don't be like that. Yeah, I get that the police should never violate your rights or trick you into incriminating yourself, which the "do you know why I pulled you over" question is designed to do, but in a lot of cases they pulled you over because you were speeding, or because you did run that red light, or because you are being black. That last one was sarcasm, guys. So they don't have the time to mess around over a traffic stop. They saw you commit the violation, they intend to give you the ticket. That question is the easiest way to get it done. But being a dick, especially when you have done something wrong, well, now you're in the wrong twice. Being cool with the officer could get you a bit of a talking to and they send you on your way. But if you make it a game where one of you wins and the other loses, the officer's loss is a shameful walk back to his car, yours is a fine, points on your license, a possible court hearing. Was it worth it? And before you ask, no, I'm not a cop. No, but if you hum a few bars, I'll fake it. I said that I honestly didn't know. He replied, did you know that your rear light was out? I said, how would I know that when it's in the rear of the car? He started laughing, and said that was a fair answer. Asked if I promised to get it fixed in the morning. Of course I said that I would. He let me go. Because I let you. White guy, is it because I'm black? Isn't that your job to tell me? Does it have anything to do with the fact I'm driving a 747 on E94? No, and give him your license. Don't consent to any searches. Don't admit to drinking alcohol or having smoked weed earlier. He can tell you to get out of the car, so don't fight him on that. You don't know your rights as well as you think you do, so don't try to get cute. Source: Public Defender. Yeah, my brake lights are out, but if you hit them they come back on for a bit. He was not impressed with my little hack to make them work. I know it would be a horrible response, but what I really want to do is drive around with a bunch of Coca-Cola products in the trunk and respond, because of all the Coke in the trunk? Then open the trunk and give the officer a Diet Coke. I was pulled over once and asked this question. I was at an intersection, but the road ahead for me wasn't directly straight across, had veer slightly left. So I asked if I was supposed to use my blinker and he said no. Asked where I was coming from, checked license, didn't even ask for insurance. He then told he's randomly checking if people have been drinking. Why ask that question when there was no answer? Then just let me go. Sarah Silverman said, because you got straight C's in high school. I don't know a good response to this, but if an officer ever asks you why you were speeding, a goose reply would be, I paid for the whole speedometer, so I'm gonna use the whole speedometer. I imagine it's because of the broken window covered with a bag in the back. You want to make sure this car isn't stolen. It's not. I just had a really bad day at work. Had to use this line going home from work. Well, officer, since a crime requires an injured party, and there isn't one, I assume you're attempting to manufacture my consent to contract with the state's corporate policy in order to generate revenue as part of a racketeering scam. I wouldn't want to speculate. Do you know why I pulled you over? Me, to give me tickets to the officer's ball? Officer, we don't have balls. I just say in my broadest Yorkshire accent, all right mucker, how's the doin'? And see him recoil at the thought of all the paperwork it will cause him to give me a ticket. Happened twice when I was staying in Boston. I'm a guy. If it's another male officer, if I were brave enough, I'd respond with, you thought I was cute and you're asking me out. Yes, I accept. I actually do have a male uniform fetish, and it is a dream of mine, but IRL I'm not so sure how well that'd work. Maybe one day I'll get the courage to try. No answer at all. Say yes, they try to extract a confession out of you. Say no, they get you for ignorance of the law. Let them do the talking and you just sit there quietly with a poker face. Hold up a box of Krispy Kreme donuts and say, because you smelled them. With respects to Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias, from whom I stole that joke. No sir, I'm afraid I don't. Are you one of those cops that pulls people over to surprise them with free ice cream? Why, officer, I assumed you wanted to ask me out. Said coyly and with a bat of the eye and flip of the hair. A long time ago, a friend was driving me home from a party. We were both pretty drunk and he got pulled over. When the cop came to his window and asked that question, he slurred his famous last words in reply, I don't know DUI. No. The point of the question is to get you to admit guilt. I went to traffic school once and they told us to answer it with a question, because giving an answer could incriminate yourself. Do you know why I pulled you over? Why did you pull me over? Do you know how fast you were going? How fast was I going? Where are you headed today? Is that why you pulled me over? Not sure about the US, but here in the UK this conversation is always an attitude test. Basically they're testing out if you're a dick and or drunk. My most memorable stop ever was middle of the night in Birmingham. I'd been going really quite fast and was pulled by an unmarked car. The policeman approached my car very cautiously, handed his belt ready to go for a baton or taser. This is not usual. Asked me if I knew why he'd stopped me. I said I think I was going a bit quick. You okay, man? He burst out laughing. Took me back to his car to review their dashcam footage of me speeding. Chatting to him and his partner in the car, they just got back on the road after being at the hospital for a few hours. Their previous stop had immediately jumped out of the car and run at them with a screwdriver in his hand. They'd had to tase him. I asked them if they knew why copper deadpanned. I was worried it was something about my face. They told me to slow down a bit and sent me on my way. Am I being detained? Am I free to go now? Shuts the fuck up after that. I think Gabriel Iglesias in his stand-up routine said it best because you can smell them while gesturing to a box of donuts on his lap. Actual answer I gave to a highway patrol at 3 a.m. It was the White Castle, wasn't it? While eating a slider. Edit it wasn't. Also, I blew by an unmarked cop doing 90 in a 55. I saw him, but since his lights didn't go on instantly I just figured I got lucky and kept on going. About a mile down the road he finally put his lights on and when he pulled me over he asked, "Didn't you see me?" I said, "Yeah, but when your lights didn't go on I thought I got lucky." He laughed and gave me a ticket for 65 in a 55. Edit grammar. Shit, you don't know either? You need to reach your quota, speak some foreign language and claim to not understand English or whatever the cop is using. Apparently worked for my uncle driving through France in the 60s-70s. Always say that you don't know. Otherwise it means you did it whatever you did wrong intentionally, which is even worse than just doing it wrong. You could smell the donuts? My dad's buddy once got pulled over and the cop asked him, "Why am I standing here?" He replied, "D average in high school." Because I let you. I didn't know, was I speeding? I couldn't see the dash I was texting. When driving a fast car BQs I let you keep an empty box of Dunkin' Donuts in the passenger seat and say because you could smell them? Yes, but I have a right not to incriminate myself. To ruin my day? Yes, because I let you pull me over, probably because you think I have cocaine in my car, which I don't have. I thought I pulled you over. Has an open box of donuts cause you can smell it fluffy. I got pulled over this one time. May have been above the legal limit. Officer turns around to pursue me. Asks if I know why he pulled me over. I tell him I have a pretty good idea. He laughs. Gives me a ticket for doing 65 in a 55. I was going 80 when I passed him. Officer, please tell me why you pulled me over. This way you don't have to say yes or no, and the ball is back in their court to tell you why they pulled you over instead of you saying because I was speeding because I ran that red light, and incriminating yourself or admitting anything. Last time it happened to me, I was talking on the phone to my dad. Got pulled over, and he asked. Just straight up said yay. I was 100 talking on my phone, and he let me go with a warning. He said he was so tired of people lying and playing dumbass bullshit internet am I being detained games, that it was refreshing. So yay. I've owned a variety of very nice sports cars over the years. I could almost always get away with I figured you wanted to shoot the breeze about my car, officer, or I thought you were going to ask me for a ride. The key is to make the officer like you right off the bat. Psychologists say you've basically got about 30 seconds to make a police officer your friend and you're far more likely to receive a warning, after which you're almost certainly getting a ticket. Good. How are you? Why? Did you forget? Do you know why I pulled you over? When you walked over here you told me I would be conducting this interview. Now how much weed did you smoke? You saw my ad for BSM Adventures? Yes? Can't you see I'm in a hurry? We can't keep meeting like this. Well, if you're gonna be a spoiled sport about losing we're never racing again. Do you know how fast I had to go to keep you from rear-ending me? Is that a quota you're trying to meet or are you happy to see me? I thought it was your job to know. No sir, I do not. You have a quota?